Hi, so I'm a new user as well, and I had some confusion and a lot of trial and error, so I thought I'd help by posting you this video. So I found it's easiest to build my stage in Show Designer, and this here is the X and Z axis. The X is red and the Z axis is blue. Now, if you can imagine a green line right here pointing straight at your nose, that would be the y-axis. Now, what's significant about that is that makes this cross right here, this point right here, 0, 0, 0. Now, everything that is in all the models, the 0, 0, 0 point in their model is the center of the model. So it's not 100% accurate, but that's a good way to use things to get them where you want to be. So the first thing you would do is you would click on View and you would choose your object list, and then you would import these things. So the way you do that is you click on Import, and that takes you to your path to where your models are. And let's say you wanted to put in a person. So here's a person female. You open that up. That opens up this window, which is the 5 different models that they have. And you'll see them populate. So she's there, she's there. So let's choose her. Now woman 3 is now in my object list. And you'll see why that's important later. So you want to do that with all your fixtures, and you want to do that with all the objects, and I've already done that. So the first thing I like to do is I like to put a stage in, and I like to use this 0, 0 point. So we're going to click on Put in an Object, and then you just click on the deck, and here's my stage floor, which I put in by the import process. Now I want to move it, so I'm going to move it and line it up with 0, 0, and I'm going to make 0, 0 the center back upstage spot. Now if you can imagine there being a wall right here, and a wall right here, and a wall right here, then that would be a room. But for now we're just going to use the deck. So the next thing is so this right here is 0, 0, 0. So the next thing you want to do is, let's say you want to import the truss. So you click on the import object and you click on your truss that you want to use. And I just picked this one at random. Now the problem is see, this is rotated the wrong way. You want it to be standing upright because we're looking top down right now. So the first thing I would do is I would grab this and move it out of the way so it's not sitting over top of this. And then the idea is you need to rotate this. You can just choose your rotate axis and click on it. And well, see, that's the wrong axis. So I find that happens to me a lot. So I found this other way of doing things. And that is, if you right click on it and choose properties, then here's the position and here's the rotation. So when we talked about 0, 0, 0, if I make this at 0, 0, 0, then it's centered on this. And if you look at the side, if you look at the side, you'll see the center is centered on this. So let's go back to top. Let's right click on this. Let's choose properties. And then I guess it's going to be the Z axis maybe. And let's do 90 degrees. Yeah, so now it's standing up. Okay, so it's at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 90. All right, so if you look at the side, you'll see it's centered correctly, but that's not where we want it. We want it to actually be up on top of the deck. So we're going to click the move item, and we're going to choose move, and we're going to rest it, and we're going to put it right here. Now I believe by default these grid is set at 1 meter, but you can change that. Okay, now if you look at this properties, so right now on the blue line here is the Z-axis. So the Z-axis is 4 foot 1 inch, 1.6 inches. All right. If I wanted to change that to 6 feet, I could go 5 feet dash 12 inches and hit apply. And now the center right here is exactly 6 feet from the wall. Now that's important because it'll come in handy later. So we're going to say okay. So now what we want to do is we want to add the fixture. So we click on the Add Fixture button right here. You click on the craft, and here we're going to say Chauvet Intimidator Spot. Now here's your Intimidator Spot, and it is a hanging thing, but you're going to stand it, so we need to rotate it 180 degrees. So you want to click on this, you want to choose Properties. Now a good way to look at this is you see the green line is always your Y, the blue line is always your Z, and the red line, which would be coming directly at us, is your X. So we want to rotate it on the X axis. So we're going to rotate the X axis 180 degrees. All right, so now here it is. Now it's standing, pointing up, instead of hanging, pointing down. So now, I said it was important, this location of this, because you can click on this, you can say Properties, and it's 6 feet from the wall. So if we click on this, and we say Properties, and we make this 6 feet from the wall, now we know that this is exactly lined up with this. So if we take this and we drag it down, it will snap onto that. All right, now the center of this is 6. If we click on this and we choose Properties and we choose this, we've gone 1 inch off. So now it's going to be 6, because 5 feet and 1 foot and 12 inches is 6 feet. So now you know that. So now if I wanted to add another one, if I wanted to add another fixture, I could go in here, and then if I look at this, 0, 10.93, 15.82, if I wanted to copy that, if I click on this and say Properties, so it's 0, 411, let's change that to 12. Actually, that's where it's snapped to the top, so we'll leave that where it is. Let's copy that. And so it's 0, 6, and then we'll paste that value. So we click on this, Properties, and this is going to be 6. And the Y value we're going to click on, we're going to say Paste. That's going to do the height. Now the X position is at 0, but we want to put that 6 feet in the opposite direction, 6 feet away. So we're going to say -6 feet dash 0 inches. And we're going to say Apply. Okay. So now you see it's here, but we didn't rotate it. But you can see it's in the exact position at the exact height. See, here's the one camera, here's the other, but see, this isn't rotated. So if we say Properties and then we go in and we rotate it on the X-axis 180 degrees, I should have moved that window, but now you'll see it's in the same position. So if you click on Front and zoom in, this one's pointed over here, this one's pointed up, but you see that they're exactly in the exact same position. So that's a great way for you to hang all your fixtures at the same height from the ceiling, so on and so forth. So that's basically the basics on the trick that I learned to make everything precise. And what I did is I went into my venue that I own and I measured where all the lights were, how high they were from the floor, how far they were from the back wall, how far they were from the sides, and I laid it out exactly to scale so I have an exact representation of my venue. And then when I used the visualizer to plan stuff from home, I know that that's exactly what it's going to look like in my venue. So if you want to get exacting, that's one way to do it. Now, of course, you would have to have your patch set up in MPC in order to run these lights, but you can still click on this and move your beams around, so on and so forth. If you wanted to make them look the same, you could do that. All right, I hope this video was helpful.